Hit subscribe, hit like. The Lions are better than your football team. We just talked about the Ravens and the Lions game on Monday Night Football a lot yesterday and the day before. And at this point, when you're listening to this, you might be ready for some Browns talk. Week 3 was really fun. I had a blast watching them dominate on Monday Night Football. But Week 4 is back to business. There's no reason that we need to take this Browns game for granted. Make all the Browns jokes you want, but they're a really good defense. And they beat our division opponent in the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers beat us.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
So that's just the 30,000-foot view. You can chop it up however you want. It was week 1. Whatever. This is a big game. This is a big game, because when you have a big game on Monday Night Football against Baltimore Ravens and you win at home or on the road, you have to follow that up with a win against Cleveland, right? It has to validate that what you put out there on Monday night is for real. So quickly, we're going to recap that game again. Lions beat Ravens 38-30 on Monday Night Football, dominated by the rushing attack of David Montgomery. That was his career high. 55 for 2 touchdowns. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 2 touchdowns as well. Also the defense. Listen, guys, 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson, right? The Lions did things against the Ravens that they haven't done since the 50s. They put stats up against the Ravens that the Ravens haven't allowed since they became a club. So that was a big game for both franchises. Answers a lot of the questions we had about the defense and Calvin Shepard, and it also puts the onus back on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. But don't want to get caught up in that too much, because we also have a Tigers playoff crunch going on right now. Most of you know that we were up 15 games in this division, and as it dwindles down to the season being basically over right now, we are, thanks to a loss at Cleveland, I believe we're a half a game or a game above, right? So this team, to me, I've never thought was a World Series contender. I've been pretty adamant on stating, listen, if you don't have at least one guy on your team that's hitting over 300, your chances of a World Series are slim to none. They're going to need 2, right? That's very adamant that you can't just have Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson the way they sit. We need some protection. We need bats, but we need to get serious, right? We need to figure out, what do we want to do with this awesome farm system? Do you want to trade it away like Dave Dombrowski did? Or do you want to make a team out of it like Houston did? So many other teams that put together their team through the farm system. But we got to commit to this right now. No sense beating Scott Harris up at all about this, because what he could have done or what he couldn't have done during the trade deadline was very limited. There weren't many arms out there that I think we missed out on, right? You can say, oh, go get this guy, go get that guy, but if they weren't on the block, easier said than done. But this is going to come down to it right now. Like, you've got, as I'm recording this, we've got Detroit versus Cleveland tonight with Skubal on the mound. Looks to be like this is Skubal's last year here in Detroit. I imagine he'll be traded. I don't really see him as a part of this team long term, just due to the money he wants, the timing of when he wants it, and the timing of when he's good, right? So he's in his prime right now. Let him go be some prime somewhere else, because there's no sense in doing what we did with Verlander and Scherzer and having these guys on the roster and then just letting them go win a World Series somewhere else. To me, it seems kind of silly. So, but let me know what you think. Food for thoughts. Put it in the comments below. We have an exciting hockey season opening up too. I want to encourage everybody to go through the list of these videos that we've been putting out, and Hermdo's put out some awesome Red Wings videos, so go check those out too. You know, back to our Lions. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, holy crap, I forgot to mention this. As we were talking Red Wings, I just realized something. This is their 100th season, so this is going to be a big year for their franchise as an original 6 team. So let's pay attention that this might be a magical year. But yeah, now back to the Lions. Everything I saw in that game answered all the questions we've had previously. So now we got to start asking ourselves some new questions. Now that the bar just continues to get raised, we have to ask ourselves, okay, what next, right? So, Mohamed, are you the next complimentary pass rusher to Aiden Hutchinson? Sure looks like it. Okay, what does that come with? Comes with staying healthy and staying consistent. We saw it with James Houston. We saw it with a few other folks. Make the most out of this, right? You said in your post-game speech that 2 years ago you were sitting on the couch. This team gave you a chance. Seems like you're making the most of it, but this is your opportunity. Maybe convince us why Brad Holmes did the right thing and didn't go out and trade the farm for a pass rush. Maybe he knew all along you were sitting right there, even though Marcus Davenport, I still don't get that one. Silly. But I think they have everything right now to be serious playoff contenders. You know, someone told me that their window for a Super Bowl was San Francisco 2 years ago, and I think that's just when the window started cracking. The window's fully open right now when you play a game like that on Monday night in week 3, right? The window's fully open when you battled through an injury-ridden 15-2. So, super pumped up about this Lions team. I think there's a lot to be happy for, but I think there's a lot of stuff we need to focus on now too when we're going to play a team like the Browns, okay? Because you've sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times now. What are you going to do against a quarterback like Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco is, yes, he's a journeyman. Yes, he's old, but he wins. There's a reason why he's still getting paid to be in the league right now. So let's consider that. They don't really have a big, crazy roster, right, of super crazy talent. But let's see what the Cleveland Browns have, actually. I don't even really know their offensive roster that well and their depth chart. And again, this is a team that lost to the Ravens 41-17, but beat the Packers 13-10. And really, that's just because they got to Jordan Love. They shut that down with that pass rush. Nasty, nasty pass rush. All right, let's look at their roster. Cleveland Browns. Probably look at this depth chart. Okay, so they have Jerry Jeudy. They have Cedric Tillman, Joe Flacco, David Njoku, Jack Conklin. I didn't know he was a right tackle there. All right, there's nobody on this offense, though, that screams to me, holy crap, you have to watch out, right? This looks like a offense the Lions would have put together 15 years ago. But on defense, you do have Myles Garrett, Malik Collins, Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger, Devin Bush, Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward. You've got some good players on here. You've got some depth. You've got some hard-hitting guys, and they're coached by our boy Jim Schwartz. So don't sleep on the Browns, guys. I'm not saying that it's a game to be nervous about, but it's a game to don't be overly confident and cocky about, right? Don't sleep on Joe Flacco. We don't want Shedeur Sanders to come in here. We don't want Jerry Jeudy and Joe Flacco to look brilliant against Terrion Arnold, right? Don't let this offense look like they're, C+ offense, because they're not. They're like a D+ offense with like a B- defense, right? So let's really let that defense earn their paycheck against our offense. But we're going against Montgomery. They're going against Gibbs. They're going against a two-headed monster in the backfield. They're going against an offensive line that looks really good. So maybe this isn't a game plan like with Baltimore where we really have to throw everything at the kitchen sink, but this is just more of a game where we can methodically run it, get a little bit more Sam Laporte on the stat sheet, maybe get a big game from J-Mo. I don't know. You tell me, what are you thinking? I will say our special teams has me a little nervous. Seeing these teams like the Browns where they block field goals and play good defense, that's how these teams will beat you, right? They'll cut you from under with stupid shit like that. So Lions special teams, I want to see where we rank right now. I like our group. I just want to make sure we're not hurting ourselves, because last night they seemed to be playing against and hurt themselves, right? So we're at a bottom 5 special teams right now this season. I don't like that. I really don't. Not an alarm, but that's something that when we say clean up, that's something you guys need to clean up. That's what's going to bite you in the ass, right? Special teams. And also, too, let's focus a little bit on Terrion Arnold. What do we want to do with this man? He seems to be drawing a lot of negative coverage his way with the refs, and I don't know. I really like him. I think he has all the attributes, but do we bring him help? Well, we did bring him help. We brought him Mr. Reed. I don't know. Guys, I really don't want to solve this one by myself. So put in the comments below, what do you think the path to success with Terrion Arnold is? We've desperately been looking for that number 1 corner to stand out. And if there was anything negative about that game last night, his play was definitely part of it. I'd like to clean that up a little bit. Another negative thing I took away from that game is why aren't we using any type of technology when it comes to field goals? That wasn't a field goal. That ball clearly went over the upright. Why can't we geofence that area and tell me exactly where and when that ball should drop? So that's another one I want to put out there in the universe. I think I already know the answer to that question, but for anybody that's listening, put that down in the comments. What's going on with that? I also want to make sure if you're still listening, you've hit that subscribe button right now, guys. 95% of our listeners have unsubscribed or not subscribed. So please take care of that. Been putting a lot of work in here. We're building a lot of momentum. I see a lot of people watched Hermdo's Red Wings videos and Tigers videos. Make sure you go over to his channel as well. Give him some love. Some pretty wild stuff he's got going on over there. It's completely different than what we do over here, but I think you'll enjoy it. I know Mike Labate just sent me one of his videos right now. Hermdo, he's loving him. So let me do this. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to also suggest you put in the comments, what's the score for this game? Don't tell me this is going to be 48-2, right? 52, 38 points, but we're going against a team that has a really nasty defense. So this isn't one of those games where you want to go out and you don't have to outgun them. So tell me what you think this is. Do you think this is one of those 14-0 games? 14-3 games? I think that's what it's going to be. I think if the Browns can keep the Lions from scoring under 21, they'll consider this a win in their book, even though they're probably going to lose. But the Lions have to do everything they can to make sure this team doesn't score a touchdown. This offense isn't built to score touchdowns. And if we're trying to make a staple with our defense, and if we just sack Lamar Jackson 7 times, you can't let Joe Flacco go out there and score a touchdown. I don't know, kind of the keys to this game to me. This is one of those games where I don't really think the spotlight's going to be on us like it was this week. But if you're a true Lions fan, this is one where you're really watching with a pen and paper. You're looking for all these specific things that you want to see cleared up, right? And then we've got going around the league too. Who are our opponents playing this week? We're playing the Browns. Oh, look at this. Texans released C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Good, man. He's such a head case. He's someone who always tried to be bigger than the team. One trade to help the Giants. You're more than one trade away from helping the Giants. Let's see. So next week, week 4, we got Seahawks Cardinals. That's a Seahawks for sure. That's your 8:15 game on the 25th, or Thursday game. Then you got Vikings Steelers. I think that's a Vikings all day. Then you've got your Browns Lions. That's my Lions right there. Chargers G-Men. Chargers continue marching on. They'll be 4-0. Giants will be 0-4. Commanders Falcons. That's a pretty simple one. Commanders take the Falcons. Eagles Buccaneers. This is the team of 3-0. Really, this is. So who decides they want to take the first W or the first L? Based on everything I'm seeing, I think the Eagles will probably win. The Buccaneers look like they're a really good team, but I don't think they're better than the Eagles team. And that's no knock on the Bucs. The over-under on that game is 43.5. Take the over. Panthers Patriots. Again, who cares about these teams, right? Both 1-2, both trash. Look for the Panthers probably to squeeze one out over the Patriots. Take the under on that one. It's 43.5. Saints Bills. 0-3. Come on, dude. The Saints are not going to get their first win against the Bills. The Bills are going to dominate the Saints. Texas Titans. Both teams 0-3. Texans look like they're imploding from within. Look for Cam Ward to get his first win against the Texans. And then Colts Rams. Danny Dimes 3-0 versus Matt Stafford's 2-1 Rams. Danny Dimes is going to get brought back down to reality, and Rams will take that one. We've got Jaguars 49ers. 49ers are 3-0 without Nick Bosa, without their starting quarterback. Jaguars are 2-1. They're still the Jaguars. For some strange reason, I think 49ers still win this game. Bears Raiders, the teams of 1-2. Who's worse, the Bears or the Raiders? Not really sure. I think the Raiders take this one. I'll give the edge to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith over the combination of Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. And then Ravens and Chiefs, man. Both 1-2. Really crazy to say that both teams are 1-2 right now. But this is a game where both of them have a lot to prove. And they're playing in Arrowhead. So do you tell me, do you really truly think the Chiefs are going to lose this game at home against the Ravens? But then again, the Ravens, do you really think they're going to lose back-to-back games? That's a big coin toss for me. I'll give the edge to the Chiefs on this one, even though I think the Ravens are the better team. Packers Cowboys, ha 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 ha. You know what? I hate the Packers and I want to see them lose every week, but these are the boys, and the boys are terrible. So I don't think the Cowboys defense is good enough to get to Jordan Love and then Micah Parsons. This is the Micah Parsons Green Bay game, and this is actually in Dallas. And considering that is it, Green Bay probably will win this game. Jets Dolphins, another two terrible teams. Aaron Glenn's trying to get his first win. Mike McDaniels is trying to get his first win. I'll give the edge to Aaron Glenn. I think he wins this game. And then Bengals Broncos. Bengals are 2-1. No Joe Burrow. Messy team. Broncos with Bo Nix 1-2. I'll edge it out to the quarterback, the home team, and this one goes to the Broncos for 2-2. So that's what I'm thinking for week 4. You know, if you want my opinion, let's go to the Lions-Browns game. It's 44.5 is what the over-under is. I take the under in this one just because I don't think they have to outshoot the team. Lions minus 8.5. Take the under, take the points, as Hermdo would say. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for this week. We had a very emotional week 3. I think week 4 is going to be a very nice even keel football team. I think the Tigers are going to barely scrape by and win a game maybe by the end of this year. I'm over. I want them to commit to what they want to be next year. We got 100 years of the Red Wings coming up. Everybody needs to like and subscribe. And I'll tell you what, thank you for listening, and one pride.
I thought you said I was all right, Spider.
No, you ain't all right, Spider. You got a lot of fucking problems.
No, I thought you said you were all right.